I see this, all this activity in front of the house over there. My God. You don't put new floor in the garage?
About half of it.
By the coffee, I'm not, I don't want.
Maybe one day next week.
I got it.
Just so everyone is aware, Chambers is unmuted and we are live on YouTube.
Driveway two. Driveway two, you can do the driveway.
Riley?
Driveway.
Good. Good. I think I'm gonna check with you to see how the plans were coming for the northern.
Not up to speed on that. It's news to me. That's the first I've heard of that today.
So my opponent said that there's plans to put a promise right in Hazeley County there.
Bandages are so people.
And I
I don't know if it's genetics.
Just so everyone is aware, Chambers is unmuted.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yep.
Haven't had a chance.
Maybe that's, I have a hat now. I'll go check. Be right back.
19 days.
The boat that everybody's in right now.
I'll go somewhere else, make more money.
Yeah.
You know, you should have said, don't be with a good time.
So.
Better than you did on camera.
I must have found
Yeah, well, when I haven't had anybody, so.
No,
Have satellite. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna be in my spare bedroom.
That means.
I'm tired to it. I get tired.
I'm not gonna be there. I know.
Okay,
One
give me that three.
one interview was like.
That's right. Yeah, I actually read this crap.
Oh, man, look at the 6/4/2021.
Uh-huh.
So anybody listening?
Are we in
It makes them feel like that ways and means.
We are.
We haven't
I'm not
got to
gonna
that.
do it all. I don't do it.
Oh, I am.
Sorry, that's my opponent.
Oh, was that what he said?
He's just, right now, he's just
I'm not sticking up.
Yeah, so,
Very cool.
I got, I gotta go prepare.
Liars.
oh, you're singing tonight or it's coming up, right?
On the 24th. Yeah.
You're going to Kaufman.
Training center, prepare for my.
What kind of drink?
That's all.
So you don't have to drive all the way to Auburn. He's also by county service. Satellite office.
But I know that's a big promise.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh, people love that.
Yeah.
Drive to Auburn.
Ours.
Who's supposed to come public and stuff, I'll leave
We're gonna
it.
make a satellite office and we'll have hours scheduled. So they're reporting on employees.
Particularly.
And with the schedule out. Mondays.
Read about
Be there Tuesday.
straws.
Wednesday.
So
He'll be there.
I go first. And then have them serve those. So the order is not. The order is huge. Never.
I didn't say I really like it.
That's on purpose, yeah.
I wish I was. Just so you know, bundle everything except for this
Oh, did
GP6 or, you know, they're separate. And Yeah, and Diana here,
Everybody has a copy.
and everybody's got, and I'll make sure that's.
The yellow is the.
Yep, is the change.
That was close to see
And they'll be able to answer.
Yeah, the inside.
Yeah.
They all think that's Brittany and Diana. So,
I'm on the right side. I'm not gonna.
Did you? Yeah.
First person.
Oh, really?
A million appropriate.
Yeah.
In the process of being transferred over from Capitol House.
I think we're
Housing.
ready. Yeah, I didn't ask for.
Check the Wegmans.
We're good to go.
And the restoration actually operated. His restoration will be operated by Give me a question.
Thanks.
$1 match.
Yeah.
Got out of
Hans, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Amanda, we all set?
That's what.
Yes, we are all set.
Will get us $8 million match.
Meeting will please come to order.
Here, I'm daydreaming.
Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, the first item is minutes to approve.
Second, Mark.
Any discussion, any additions or corrections? If not, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Okay, Mr. Dempsey, I believe you're first on the list. There you are. There you are.
You have my report. Does anyone have any questions?
There's no leave. We're all happy, so
Glad to hear it.
thank you, David. The next, please.
Good evening. You all have my report. Does anybody have any questions?
Boy, this is gonna go quick tonight.
Don't jinx it.
Okay, I'm with the sick.
Thank you, Grace. Okay, I think Jennifer's next.
And you also have my report. If you have any questions.
Boy, this is starting to like a record, you know. that-
I got news for you, Hans. It ain't gonna be.
Oh, okay.
No questions? Thank you, Jennifer. Diane is here also.
Yeah, good evening. You have my report. I'll just ask too if anyone has any questions for me.
Any questions or comments? If not, thank you, Diane. Amanda,
You guys all have my report. If anybody has any questions.
we're good. Everybody's got the same line. I love this. Okay, no questions. Thank you again, Amanda. Resolutions, we can't be down to those already.
Yes, we can.
Diana Vine.
Okay,
Such a pessimist.
ways and means. I'm pulling number 10, okay? It's gonna be brought up again in October, ways and means, okay?
November.
November, yeah, well, this is October.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 1 through 9. Anyone want anyone separated? Not a.
I'll move them as a bundle.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions on any of the resolutions separately?
I do have a question on Ways and Means 1. It says it was amended and there was information put into that resolution on per employee. Is that what happened?
That's correct, yeah.
Is that available? I mean,
The resolution lists the various amounts. Did you want more detail?
yeah, I mean, if you would just give me an idea what it says. All I had is the one that said $21,000 total.
Correct. And it was revised and it now shows per position number what the stipend numbers are. If you want, do you want detail beyond that?
Could you just tell me what they are? There's
sure.
4 positions.
For positions, Chief Assistant County Attorney, 6,500.
Okay.
Assistant County Attorney, 9,000.
Okay.
Assistant County Attorney, 4,000. Total 19,500.
The total changed a little, and this, I would assume, is based on some assessment or an analysis that was done by HR looking at overtime. Is that how that
Yeah,
works?
that's my understanding.
Yes, that's how it works.
Okay, so times where information was submitted to you, you looked at that, determined what was after hours for the other department and came up with these amounts?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Further questions or comments? If not, a motion for the bundle, 1 through 9. You did that, okay. All those in favor of the bundle?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So carried. Thank you. Health and Human Services.
Way too fast.
Please.
Yes, Health and Human Services had 12 resolutions this month. They've gone through committee. We did, on agreement of the Health and Human Services Committee, add HH 12 in resolution form, and that's there. Does anyone have any of these they would like separated before?
I think 12
Okay,
should be separated.
That's what I was gonna say. So we
Okay.
just, they weren't.
yep. So can I get a motion for HH 1 through HH 11?
Move it, Castillo.
Second,
All right,
You
okay,
asking for a second or are you second?
I second it.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, any discussion on 1 through 11? If not, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
okay,
Anyone
and
opposed? Nobody opposed? Carried, thank you.
great.
I'll move HH 12 for discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay, for those people who weren't at the HHS meeting, Chris Trevisini from Housing Visions did come. He had a written write-up. I think I sent that out ahead to sort of outline what the overall projects are for the development of housing and dealing with our homeless issues. If this proposal goes through, he's going to be separating out the shelter from the rest of his larger project that requires all these different funding streams and would put us on target to look at developing or building that homeless shelter probably 12 to 24 months ahead of schedule. I think Jim asked a question at the HHS meeting, what would we be actually getting for our $1 million of ARPA funds? And he answered, we would be getting a $8 million match from the HHAP program, the Housing Assistance, Homeless Housing and Assistance Program. And we would be actually building a 83-bed shelter at the same footprint on Grand Ave with an additional 9 transitional housing units in addition. And if this goes through, he's going to look at getting the municipal approvals because that's going to be required by Auburn. And, we would be far ahead in terms of trying to deal with people who present to the county for emergency housing and get them in a supervised setting and out of hotels.
Mr. Chair.
Good.
Thank you. First, I'd like to start with, as those that I've served with for a while, know I've had a change of heart regarding the shelter. I think it's an absolute necessity at this point. I don't know if I've seen the light or felt the heat, but I am 100% in support of this at this point. And for the keeping them out of the hotels and also finding a safe supervised
Yep.
environment,
Yep.
which leads me to my question. I
Okay.
just want to make sure that integrated into this plan is not only supervision, but case management. All of it's going to be a full service. So we're not only supervising them while they're in the shelter, but making efforts to not reintegrate to society, but you get what I'm saying, to help them successfully come off the service.
We did talk about the fact that we think that some of the contracts that we're paying for, the Department of Social Services paying for the case management of people in hotels would no longer be required. The costs we're spending on that, these would be the case management, the security, all of that will be built into the
It's
rate
an
that we're
overall
going to
effect.
be paying the Syracuse Rescue Mission.
I'm sorry?
Syracuse Rescue Mission will be the operator.
Okay, and I'm sorry, did you say it'll be the same rate?
It said it will be built in. They're going to give an operating budget to the Department of Social Services, what it
Okay.
costs them to operate. And then will be,
So it'll be modeled after the Syracuse Rescue Mission?
I don't really know what that means, but I don't know how the department will pay per diem or they'll pay a contractual rate that we haven't worked out.
Okay, I guess I would just say that if that is the case, because I've had the pleasure or the displeasure of working closely with the rescue mission at 122 Dickerson Street. But I would say that if that is the modality that they're following, that's excellent.
Yes. Yep. Well, I was afraid you'd say, oh, no, not that.
Yeah, no, I did
Right.
before,
Right.
but now I realize as a necessity.
They have the experience to operate the shelter, and I think Housing Visions feels confident that they'll be able to run the shelter.
And I concur.
Jim?
Yeah, so I'm going to support this definitely. I came to the meeting just to hear the gentleman speak and also to be with Elaine, the chair of that. She's such a good leader. But my only, my one concern still out there is the operating costs and what, it's got to be less than what we're, right now we pay a hotel. I was told at the meeting, we have an average over a year, 31 people that stay at the hotel at any one time. At $110 a night comes out to $1.25 million, $1.25 million a year that the county taxpayers are paying for. And if even that can be reduced by a fraction, this would be a good use of the ARPA funds. We've looked for a number of one-time expenditures with the ARPA funds that would serve the overall tax base well, and the people that are paying taxes for these things come from all the districts, even though they might not be subject to having to deal with it. They're all payers into it. So for that, I am going to support it. I'd like them to continue to give reports back to the county on, as it moves forward, what that operating cost is. And then the fact that all the services, some of our service costs will be reduced too, and so forth. It was a good thing to hear. So I will support it.
Is this the first step, or are we approving something right now which we can't stop once it's going?
The way I understood from Chris Trevisini is with the $1 million of county ARPA funds and the 250 they already gave for the design work, that he feels, and the real need in this county, that will be sufficient enough for this HHAP funding to be awarded to this county. So I think if, as soon as this happens and he gets the municipal approvals, the HHAP funding is open right now, and he feels that, you know, we will be awarded the amount of money to make this shelter a reality. And he will be able to, he said, what did he say? That the municipal approvals will be, the awards could be in the beginning of 24. And if all goes to plan, mid-2024, they can start construction. Is that what he said?
Yes,
Brenda?
yeah, and they weren't even talking about construction until like 2026.
In the original
In the
plan.
original plan.
Yes, this, right.
Elaine, you and I have had multiple conversations. I will not be supporting this tonight. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not a hard no for the full ledge meeting, because I feel that there's still some questions out there that need to be answered. We've spoke privately between the two of us about some of them. I think, you know, we can work on, you know, some of my concerns or questions. And I have to agree with Jim. I'd like to see, you know, what this is going to cost, you know, per, we'll call it per bed. We're paying $110 now to put them in a hotel. And if it's that or cheaper, I think, you know, I can be persuaded. And I want to be clear. There's 4 buildings in this project somewhere down the road.
There's one shelter.
Okay.
And then there is the purchase of Holy Family. Then there's the scattered sites on different streets in the city of Auburn. And there is, what got this one right here.
Probably one. that's
And then
shared.
the building at 197 State Street that the city of Auburn donated, that will be converted to apartments as well.
Out of this $8 million?
Nope, the 8
this-
million and the 1 million is for to build the shelter.
The shelter and 9 transitional units.
Yes, an 83-bed shelter and 9 transitional apartments. Our $1 million will be leveraged against the housing grant, $8 million, and we'll be on our way to having a shelter on Grand Ave.
The other thing with the cost, Mark, and I still would like to see operating costs, see how they're getting that done. And if it's based off of something in Syracuse, they might be able to help fast track that information. But the hotel is only one portion of it. Then there's the meals, and then they're sending the counselors over. And then, security, which is the police going there all the time. And from what I understand from the conversation and now backed up by Legislator Petrus, that he is experienced with the Syracuse shelter. They have security, there'll be cameras, they'll have access to meals, they'll have counseling there. And so it'll be one-stop shop that will maybe help better transition some of these folks so we're not repeat offenders. The other thing that came up in the meeting, totally unrelated to this, but related to our tax dollars, is the move that the county has made to start, and maybe start wasn't the right word, I don't know how long, but finding their home of origin for these people. Remember, we had all these people coming from Syracuse. Hey, you go to Auburn, you stay in a hotel. Now they once they break down how they ended up here, a bus ticket or Uber or whatever, and sending them back to their county of origin where they can be taken care of there is one of the other things we're doing. I know that sounds a little cruel, but it's not. We're here to take care of our own. Syracuse, but the word's out that they can stay in a hotel all summer with air conditioning and a pool. Where are you going? The shelter in Syracuse? Absolutely not.
Right, Mr. Chair. Just to add one thing, I guess maybe kind of addressing this to you, or just to kind of articulate the necessity of this. My district is disproportionately affected by this. Weedsport is unable to sustain the, and in fact has taken measures. They've added gotten approval. It's my understanding they've gotten
Additional
approval.
tax, right?
For the, so it's disproportionately affects my district. And I just hope everybody can take that into consideration, not only the benefit that it will provide for our constituents, and frankly, the people that will be serviced by the shelter, but also it'll be alleviating the undue burden which is placed on the village of Weedsport and the town of Brutus, and actually the Weedsport School District too. So please take that into consideration in your decision-making process.
I give you credit, Chris. You were like, I don't think a shelter should be here. And then all of a sudden, there are people being, housed in Weedsport hotels, and it's not.
Sure, overwhelming the system, yeah. Because there is, I think we need to take, in my experience, let me phrase it that way. In my experience, the shelter is going to have an effect on the community. And we need to take that into consideration, but we also need to do a cost benefit analysis and see, financially, but also the services that we're providing. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I invited a lot of you weren't at Health and Human Services. So I invited Chris to come to the Full Edge to do another presentation. So if you've got a million questions, Elaine does a great job, but if you got the questions, bring them next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, I think that
Because Chris will be here.
Yeah.
And he's going to bring some more information so everybody can hear. Okay, thanks, Hon.
Ready?
Just a quick comment to back on what legislator Basile said. Once we offer an individual a placement in the emergency shelter, we've done our due diligence. So they don't get an opportunity to stay in a hotel,
They don't say, no, I prefer a hotel, right?
Hans, that's a good point. It is, that was brought up too.
And Elaine we've talked about this. My concern is, and I'm sure there's probably some mechanism in place that I'm not aware of. I can certainly be educated. But my concern is that how long do these people stay in this type of, situation? Are we, is it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Is it forever? I don't know the answer to that. And I'm sure somebody can find that information and give me that information before next, the full ledge. But I want to make sure that in my no vote, I want to make sure that we are doing everything we can through services, the help that these people need to not keep them in this shelter. I feel like we need to give these people every opportunity to go out on their own, make it on their own, find a job, do whatever it takes to get them out of this thing. And that's the part that has not been answered. And that's the reason that I'm voting no. It is not, like I said, those questions are my questions, certainly probably can be answered. But that's why I'm voting no.
And I think and I'll shut up. Lauren Walsh had a very good point at the meeting too, and I think the sheriff could agree. Having people come out of jail and be placed in a hotel with no supervision is not great in terms of keeping them in recovery.
That's the transitional housing though, correct?
Well, but if they get out of jail and they have nowhere to live and they come to the third floor and they say, I don't have any place to go, we say, okay, go to hotel. You're looking at safer placements for people when they come out of incarceration because there's a lot of temptation at the hotel. She felt that it would not be as appropriate. It would be better in terms of keeping people safe and clean if they were in a supervised setting and further helped with getting into a place to stay.
We're doing a lot of work in the jail to prepare people for reentry, and then we are sticking them into a motel where it's drug infested, and we're seeing those issues. So I'm 110% behind having some transitional housing.
That's the holistic approach.
Any other comments? I personally would like this to be postponed and go to the full ledge.
The vote on this?
Yeah.
I'd like for us to vote on sending it to the ledge.
There's a motion and a second, right?
Motion and second.
So
I mean, I would support it. I mean, if it comes out of committee, it can still fail at the floor, but.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right. I'd
And-
like
and
it to come out of committee and.
To Mark's question, when I listened to that talk, the whole thing is about, they come in homeless or whatever, is getting them what they need to transition out and be productive in society. There is a motion on the floor in a second to vote on, so we'd have to.
Okay, any further comments? Otherwise, those in favor of going to the full ledge, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion is carried.
And as Dave said, Chris will be here too. And you.
And I look
Looking
forward to the
at, yes. Okay.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, Mark, if you've got questions prior to him coming, you may need to look up. Can you go through Elaine and Elaine can email him your questions?
Not a problem.
That way he can come prepared.
And the one question, Christine, if you're on the line, is there a limit to how long someone could stay in emergency in a shelter? Because there's no limit to how long they're staying in hotels.
Right, I think it varies. I mean, some people, excuse me, are in for short periods of time and some people are in longer. I think it depends on, there's a lot of factors.
But it's not like rested after 21 days, they're out.
No. And I think that if some of the information that would be helpful, it sounds like I took down some notes of things we can get from Rescue Mission. They can certainly give information about what is the average length of stay, for someone that's in the shelter. Some people come into the shelter and then they leave and then come back into the shelter because they're out on the streets for periods of time. I mean, there's there's no easy answer to how long people are in. Everybody's story is a little bit different, but we can definitely get some statistics that I think will help inform some of the questions that I'm hearing tonight. And, you know, I'm happy to also take questions if Legislator Strong, if you'd like to get in touch with some of the questions, if I can help you in any way, I'd be happy to.
I thank you, Christine, for that, and I will try to make it a point before the full edge to stop down to your office.
Thank you.
Christine, Legislator Basile, did you jot down a note, maybe if you have average length of stay, what the average cost per stay is or per day? It might vary depending on how long somebody's there, but that would help me out a little bit more. That's one of the cost things I was trying to find out. I think it would be good to prove.
And just to add to that, Christine, is it not clear how we're going to pay yet?
As far as the funding model?
Yeah.
So the conversations that we've had with Rescue Mission, the way that they operate out of Onondaga County, they do not do a per diem rate. They don't do like $100 a day, or they don't do that. They have an operating budget. They have an agreement with Onondaga County to pay a percentage of that operating budget. And it is a high percentage. It is upwards of 90% of their operating budget. They are paid that same amount of money each month, and it's paid across however many people are there. So sometimes they could have, 185 people staying in the shelter on a day. They could have 150. It drops down in the warmer months. They spread that cost against the cases that are folks that have open TA cases, I believe. So Rescue Mission is very willing to come in. They're very willing to give information about how it works. They've offered to give a presentation as well. I can work with Elaine if you're interested in that. We can talk about that. But yeah, I think that's how they work with Onondaga County for running the big shelter there.
Yep. And again, no one assumes that Rescue Mission is not going to get some of their costs covered. And, that's how they would, it's not per diem, it's the operating cost of the shelter.
Mr. Chair. If people are interested in more data, I've just had a thought here. I think it's 1801 Erie Boulevard West is the new Catholic Charity shelter. And they might be able to provide some comparison data on their shelter because they have a similar model with the case managers and all that. So that may be more data to help you arrive at your conclusion. You got Catholic Charity.
Thank you, Elaine. Going on, government operations, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Government operations had 5 resolutions. They've all been through committee. I'll just add that given that Tuesday, the 24th is Student Government Day, my friend and colleague, Legislator Shea, has no resolutions, but so if you have students, I'd be willing to donate one or two to you, so you would be able to indulge your students. Having said that, I'll offer all 5 as a bundle if everyone is willing.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion on the bundle? If not, all those in favor of the bundle? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Planning?
Mr. Chairman, I was about to say I got nothing. I'd like to retract Mr. Legislative Cooper's last remarks.
Have them stricken from the record.
Be happy to assist you in
Thank you.
your
It
endeavors.
just means you're not spending money. You're not spending money. You're tight on that.
Wait a minute. I guess I'm chairman of that tonight, right?
You are.
Apparently.
How about that? Okay, well, Public Works, we got 1 through 5.
5.
I'd like to offer him the bundle.
Move it to Steele. Second.
And just for the record, Andy said he's available if there's questions. He's just under the weather.
Okay, any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of Public Works 1 through 5?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried also. Now we come to the hard nut to crack, so. Judicial and public safety, Mr. Troy, please.
I don't know if I can live up to that last comment, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. JPS has 10 resolutions tonight. JP 5 and JP 7 have been pulled. I would like to offer JP 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10 as a bundle, unless someone wants one separated.
Move it, Basile. Second.
Second. Okay, it's open for discussion. Any comments on any of them? If not, all those in favor of the bundle? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried.
All right, here comes the tough nut to crack. JP 6 needs to be amended tonight. You have a copy on your desk. It was handed out. All the changes or the amendments are highlighted in yellow. This has been an exhausting, daunting task. I'll give everybody a few minutes if they want to look it over. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'll do my best. We have the district attorney.
Mark,
Diane is here. Fred is here.
you wanted to say something, yeah?
Just
Just ask for the floor.
as a preliminary matter, would somebody move the
Oh, yes.
resolution and then we can get into the,
Move it, Basile.
sorry. Second. Was there a second?
Second was
Number 5. Shouldn't be,
Didn't
but
have anything to do tonight. So second.
number 6, JP 6. Further discussion?
As far as the, I had said at the meeting that, you know, I would not be supporting this only because I think the $113,000 that we already gave in terms of relooking at the DA legal group should be considered coming out of this 210,000. That would still be near 100,000 for additional stipends. This is probably also the first time, and I'm happy for the clerical staff and the administrative assistants, that any aid to prosecution money that I'm aware of has gone to those titles other than the attorneys. I do see in the resolve that the monies allocated for the aid to prosecution payments for attorneys will recur annually, and I don't blame you for not wanting to go through this every time you turn around. That doesn't include but you know, I just think that, you know, as Andy says, we should use the money for what it was intended. And I think the resalarying of the attorney staff was intended for recruitment and retention. So I won't be able to support this in this format tonight.
Any further discussions? Fred?
So if I understand it, there's a motion on the floor for the resolution. Somebody should also move the amendments if that's the way you want to go.
I'll move it, or I'll move it to be amended as highlighted on the copy that everyone has on their desk.
I'll second that.
Okay, we're open for discussion on the amendment. Anyone? Nobody? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
As offered? Aye.
I can handle the amendment, just not the resolution, I guess. Yeah.
So where are we?
We're back to the resolution. Resolution as amended. As amended.
Apparently, okay, very good. Resolution as amended.
Move it. Shay.
Second, Mark.
Okay, further discussion? Not, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Elaine?
Yes.
So noted. All carried. Thank you. Where are we, Mark?
That would conclude me of all my resolutions. Thank you.
Okay, we're down to one resolution. Anybody want to go home?
Can I say something? Maybe Mr. Chairman's going to talk.
Go
about
ahead.
Yeah, I just got a couple of things, but go ahead, Chris.
I just wondered, maybe, Mr. Chair, perhaps you wanted to talk about the books out there. Was that one of the things you were going to talk about? If not, that they're available. Okay. I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Well, the books are for actually for the students. We'll be giving them out up at the park after our meeting. Okay, they'll all be, I'm signing them all, they'll all be transferred up there. So they'll be given out up there with some other travel things that I'm gonna give out to them. But I just wanted to remind everybody, I know you all know, but please dress accordingly next Tuesday for our students. I think it's very important to show that we respect them. Try to be here early at 9:30 so everybody can meet your students and get acquainted and kind of tell them what you want them to do. And once again, I've said it twice now, pick 3 of your resolutions. Chris, you can share it with Bobby or whoever who wants to. That will be very interesting to the students if you got it. If there's not any, if there's 1 or 2, just pick 1 or 2. But it'll be interesting for us at least to debate a couple of them from each committee. And that's really all I have for next week. Don't forget it's the daytime. Some people will hopefully not forget, but 10 o'clock, 9:30 next Tuesday.
I have a quick question on the student day. Did I hear we had 90 some students coming?
Yep.
And so how are we gonna share?
Deb here?
space?
Deb's not here, but we have 90. She's got them, no, they're not all gonna be in here. Some of them go to different departments. Each one of us will have a student.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
They'll all come in after they go to the departments right at the end of our meeting,
We're gonna
listen
send
to
them,
the end, and then they'll all go out to the park.
we're gonna send them to civil service first so they can see how bad that operation is.
Well, let me tell you.
No,
Put that mark down, all right?
I object.
that's civil service testing and all that stuff.
Let me tell you.
Not Diane.
No, not
What
Diane.
they see in Washington nowadays, this will look like a very good thing to them, I hope. So, this whole country's not dysfunctional like Washington. So let's put on a really good show for them, please.
Very helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments, Mike? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'm at.
No. Do we have a caucus afterwards?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes, we do, Gary.
still got a,
Motion to adjourn.
Move it, Basile.
Second. Okay. All those say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Dean wanted to stay.
I know.